I'm Dr. Andrea Hazim. I am a chiropractor and nutritionist by my education, which I think is funny because as soon as I was about to graduate, I met my husband on a chiropractic mission trip in the country of Panama. So I went to being a mom, and he went to the office, and I became an educator because really my passion was to teach people. So while he was adjusting people's spines, I had a classroom in the back that sat like 50 people, and I would put on seminars and teach everything from bread making to, anything, exercise and biblical Bible studies, anything we could do, we were about pouring into people's lives. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys today. Can I ask for a favor? Because I'd like to know who's here. All the 20 and belows in the room, stand up. Let's see. Oh, I see some parents sneaking into that crowd. Me too, right? All right, have a seat, thank you. So it's, I think, the majority of the room. If you're a parent and you're 20 and above, stand up. Thanks for coming, Mom and Dad. I really want to congratulate you. You can have a seat for being those parents who want to invest in your young leaders. I am all about young leaders. That is my passion. And as Suzanne said, I am a veteran homeschool mom. I started homeschooling. I have 3 sons. This is my youngest, Shiloh Wave. He's 17. I have a 20-year-old, Cyrus, and my 22-year-old is Isaiah. We started homeschooling when Isaiah was in the 3rd grade, well, going right out of the 3rd grade. We realized there were some challenges going on, and in the private school that he was in, they wanted to fail him, label him, and tell me all these things about him, and I was like, I don't think so. So I really prayed, and it wasn't my idea to homeschool, it was God's idea. And I said, okay, I will be obedient. And I'm so glad that I did, because it started the most beautiful journey with my family, where we gained the freedom to learn the way my children needed to learn, right? Who can relate to that, Mom and Dad, right? Like, it's so nice to be able to customize their education. And not only that, I love to travel. Like I said, I met my husband on a mission trip. Any chance I have to travel, do missions, whatever, I want to do that. With homeschooling, last night I was telling somebody, I couldn't wait till my kids were old enough to strap on a backpack and leave. Let's go, guys, come on. I would give them their little Cliff Bars in the backpack, some water, and we'd go somewhere and go do something, and learning anywhere around the world. So that's just a little bit about me and how I got here to this homeschooling world. And I became a teacher of homeschool co-op, so I wasn't just teaching my own children, I was teaching other people's children, which what an honor and a privilege that is. And how I got to what I'm doing today, which you're going to hear about, is I taught, anybody familiar with classical conversations? Okay, so I was a Challenge A mom, which is 7th grade, and I had to teach Latin. I had no clue what to say about that. So one of the girls in my class was really good at Latin. I was like, let's have study hall at my house. So she taught the Latin, and I did homework with them all, and that just became, for 5 years, study hall happened at my house every Thursday. And getting to know these young people, I can't call them kids, young adults, was so amazing. Talking to them at lunch and just getting their hearts, I became a mentor. They call me Aunt Ange, and I'm like, wow, you trust me. And I really saw, and at the time, I personally was going through courses to better myself. Communications, teamwork, leadership, and learned about personality types and these kinds of tools that you don't learn in school. And I said, these young people need to learn this. So off I went. Fast forward to today, and the shirt that I'm wearing, words matter. And that's our topic today. Do our words matter? Do they matter? Yes or no? They matter huge, right? But people use them all over the place in all kinds of ways, and sometimes in sloppy ways, right? Or how about the words we say to ourselves? About that conversation in your own head? Oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough connections, I can't make it in that college, right? We're all here to learn about college and career, which means that this demographic in this room is excited about their future, and you're planners, and you care about finding out the right information. So I applaud you for being here. And this, I pray, will tie into all of those efforts and why you're even here today. So, what is my goal? My goal is to help families to understand patterns of unhealthy relationships and how it affects mental health. Because that is a very big thing. We're going to get into some statistics. The impact of stress on social, emotional, spiritual, and societal health. Look around, right? What's going on with our young people in every age, really. Strategies to restore communication and healthy relationships, and tools for effective and practical relationship maintenance. All things you'd want to have, right? Hopefully, you've instilled them in your young adults before they leave your home. Now, maybe some of you are going to do college online, so they're not necessarily leaving the home. But I work with a lot of young leaders, and I see what happens when they leave the nest and go away to those colleges that they dreamed about, and it's not always what we think it's going to be. So I want to show you and talk to you on the practical side as far as the internal man and the character. Because isn't that why we homeschool mom and dad, right? Who's ever heard Coach Rick? He's a famous speaker. He's a friend of mine. And I love when Rick says, he always makes me cry when he does this, because the early years of homeschooling was rough. And I remember him saying, you're not teaching math, you're teaching Matthew. You're not teaching science, you're teaching Sally. Like, it's not necessarily about the subject. It's okay. Okay. That's right. Let me remember my child is a person, that I'm training them, their character, their heart. They're going to be a husband or a wife one day. They may be an entrepreneur and they may be a boss one day. How are they going to treat their employees? Because how that goes is how successful their business is going to be, right? You can't be a boss who's a mean, selfish person, or you don't know how to communicate and say your feelings and your thoughts and what you need the people to do. You need to be a leader, but a certain type of leader. God has been impressing on me lately. There are two scriptures, another one you'll see later. It's in Malachi. Who's ever seen this one before? I really feel commissioned. Elevate Life Educational Foundation is something that I started about 7 years ago in my quest to train up a young generation. But now I really see God's turning it to be a family thing. That I want to turn the hearts of the parents to the children and the children to the parents. Because especially in the teen years, there seems to be a disconnect. Anybody relate? Right? And it's actually normal. I remember in learning in classical conversations, they would always do this summer seminar that taught about the classical method of education and how we learn. There's the grammar stage, there's the dialectic stage, and then there's the rhetoric stage. It's normal. And a lot of parents get frustrated when your child is starting to intellectually develop and they have questions. Well, don't question me. Like, I'm the mom, right? Just do it. But they're actually wanting to understand their world and what's going on. So it's actually normal. And then in the rhetoric stage is when they're supposed to take in all this information, be able to process it in their own thoughts, and be able to spit it back out to society as a speaker or a writer or just in any setting, right? So that's my goal, is to create that connection and restore families. Not that your family's broken, but we can all use improvement when it comes to personal growth and development. It's amazing. And it really kind of goes hand in hand with how spiritually mature you are as well, because of those fruits of the Spirit, right? That's kind of the litmus test for me. I always go, okay, how am I doing? What's the report card? Love, joy, peace, patience, and that kind of thing. And it really shows you where you're at in development emotionally. So let's take a look at this study. I thought this was fascinating. I live in South Florida, and One Hope Ministry is a ministry around the corner from where I live. And they did this study called the Global Youth Culture Net Study. It was extensive, 20 countries, 14 languages, and it took a look at teenagers, okay, because that's my passion. 1 in 6 people on the earth right now are teenagers. You saw how the majority who stood up are teenagers, right? Well, that's what we're here for. But did you know this? That 2 out of every 5 teens in the US claim no religion. 51% of teens surveyed self-identified as a Christian. Oh yes, I'm a Christian. But what does that mean? Does that mean you go to youth group because you do attendance at youth group? Does that make you a Christian? Does it mean mom and dad's a Christian, you grew up in a Christian home, so you're a Christian? What does it mean? Only 8% were committed Christians, meaning they took their faith seriously. They actually had a walk with God. They actually spent time getting to know God, seeking Him, studying His Word, praying, right? How about this? 96% of teens watch videos every day. Okay, that may seem normal, but to what extent? And we know how our world is going, right? Media, unfortunately, it's here to stay. Social media, it's not going anywhere. We have to learn to cope with it. But it's a very important issue. And I really encourage you parents, you young people too, you are young leaders, and you have to take control of your life, right? Like you wouldn't go drink arsenic if you knew it was gonna kill you. You wouldn't go stand in front of a car. So you have to make sure you take care of yourself emotionally and spiritually, and your media use is affecting you. And I go into that a lot when I am training teenagers. I don't have time for that today, but that's why the statistic is very important. 35% of teens in the US reported having suicidal thoughts in the past 3 months. This is the highest rate in the world across all the countries that were surveyed. That to me is tragic. They are our future. You guys, you young people, I say you're pure potential. You are like this beautiful future. There's so much in store for you. To have a suicidal thought that's probably usually attached to, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, as they're scrolling on Instagram. Wow, she's so pretty. Wow, she's an influencer. Look at that. She gets all this free stuff in the mail. And, okay? It is killing our young people, the comparison. Teens reported, fill in the blank. I have experienced blank in the last 3 months. What have they experienced? Depression, high anxiety, pornography use, suicidal thoughts, same-sex attraction, and that's going up higher and higher every day. Christian homes or not. Because culture, common culture, is telling them there's nothing wrong with it. Don't listen to your parents. They're old school. They don't know what they're talking about. Oh, the Bible, that was for those generations, not now. This is what's normal now. Got it? Desensitization. It's all okay. And, well, I'm not here to say like anything against any people group. I believe in empathy and cultural diversity and acceptance, which is wonderful. That's what we're called to be. Love everybody, be serving leaders. But at the same time, if people are going through issues where it's affecting them emotionally and they're confused and their identity is in question, then it's going to affect every realm of their life. And then they're going to be open to fall for anything. Have you ever heard the saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything and you'll be good for nothing? We have to teach our young people to stand in their identity and find their purpose, young. Not when they're out of high school or out of college and, oh, well, you have time for that. No, you don't. It's today, it's now. You'll see my, stand up, you guys, if you're on my impact team. These are some alumni. If you have questions later, fine. But you see the back of their shirts. It's about being a leader today, not tomorrow. Which teens were more sexually active? This should be interesting to you parents. The Christian teens were more sexually active. And then there's also the pornography use. You may find these hard to believe, but I work with a lot of young people. And this is what I'm seeing happening. Mental health issues. It's rampant. The rates of self-harm and suicide would make you cry. 18% of adults have a mental health condition. Nearly half have a co-occurring substance abuse disorder, because a lot of people don't want to go get help. They don't want to go talk to a therapist, a counselor, a life coach, a pastor, a best friend. It's a secret thing that they're struggling with. They don't go get help. So they deal with it by self-medicating. Drugs, alcohol, pornography, food. I've been one of those. I grew up in an Italian home. Food, the programming around food was very unhealthy, emotionally very unhealthy, and I had to overcome it. That's why I went into health and nutrition. That is exactly why, because I didn't want to turn out like a statistic like I saw with a lot of people. So that's over 43 million Americans who are having mental health issues. 90.6 million experiencing suicidal ideation, thinking about it. Like maybe they're driving their car like, what if I just pulled over into oncoming traffic right now? And they're actually thinking about it, what that would be like. Would it be a relief? How about youth mental health? It's worsening and access to care is limited. In a 5-year period, rates of severe youth depression have increased. Now, what are we dealing with in this world? The whole shutdown, isolation, school online, people not being allowed to be with each other, looking at people just their eyes. I've seen a generation of people who feel like they lost a year of their life, or even more. I didn't get to have graduation. I didn't get to go to prom. I haven't seen my friends in forever. It hurts. Like, I feel it. When you're a high schooler, middle schooler, you want to be with people. You want to be with your peeps. Bounce ideas off, just hanging out, doing nothing. You know, you love mom and dad, you love the family, but you need your people, your friends, right? Over 1.7 million youth with major depressive episodes did not receive treatment. Why? Why aren't we talking about this issue? It's a very big issue. And when you go off to college, it's only going to magnify, because in a sense, it gets swept under the rug. You're going to be around young people there that didn't come from a background of homeschooling, maybe. Maybe they're just very worldly, or not that every homeschooler is like, moral and values, but, it's a different demographic. You are more intentional, and you're setting the stage, which is why you homeschool, right? You're going to see everything at college, everything you could think of. And if you're not strong in who you are, you will fall for anything. You will. So it's enough to fill a major league stadium. Crazy. So what are we doing about it? That's the good news, right? So I kind of gave you a little reality check of the state of the world out there emotionally. Well, as for me and my house and my organization, we are about educating young leaders. How are we doing it? Communication and conflict resolution, they're learning these tools. Social dynamics of relationship, dating, and love. We have hard conversations. We talk about all of that. Challenges, because there are issues in the family when you're raising up these young ones. Have you ever thought to yourself, why is it so-and-so can tell my child the same thing I've been telling them for 5 years, but because they heard it from somebody else, it's like, they got it. Like, why is that? I don't know. But it's the truth. So you need a village. It takes a village to train young people. And I have your back, parents. I created a village. And we are all about backing you up and giving that programming so they get these tools. And actually, a lot of times they come home and mom and dad are like, I never learned that. And I encourage the parents, learn from your young people. Be humble and teachable enough to not be like, well, I'm the parent, I'm better than you. Well, listen, I tell my kids, we're all equal at the foot of the cross. I'm just a little older, but you're my brother. And, we're doing life together. You're my roommate, So I do tell them that. How about how to make positive decisions and enhance their confidence? Self-acceptance. That self-talk is huge. That's why I have the self over here. You see, I love my props. Self. This is a very big deal. We don't know what to do about this thing. Who am I? What do I do with myself? And how do we live life? Is self on the throne? Is self the one calling all the shots? I'll do what I want. We got to be careful about that. And sexual risk avoidance. That's very important. Talking about these college campuses, since that's what we're here to talk about, college and career. I was talking to a mom recently who was telling me that her son, I think he got sick or whatever, and he went to the college infirmary because they have like a little, not a hospital, but a nurse office, whatever. And he was calling his mom horrified. He said, Mom, I will never go there again. She's like, why? Every kid in there was getting meds for STDs. Raise your hand if you don't know what an STD is. Maybe some homeschoolers don't know what that is. Sexually transmitted disease. They were all in there to get a med for a sexually transmitted disease, the whole clinic. And he felt like they're going to think I'm like that. I'm out of here. Yeah. Let's reverse common culture. That's common culture. College common culture, you're drinking, you're having sex. The freshman 15, you ever hear about that? You go gain 15 pounds the very first year you're out there because why? It's the birthday party diet. The buffet in the cafeterias, pizza, mac and cheese, hamburgers, soft serve ice cream. It's like, woo, I'm on a cruise ship here. I can eat whatever I want. Yeah. It's just this common, do whatever you want, okay? I want to help these kids change their world. If you change your world, you change the world. And we actually are using, John Maxwell wrote a book recently called Change Your World, based on values. And we used this in my program this summer, and they go through all different values. It's great. We did hope, listening, communication, forgiveness, valuing others, multiplication, like incredible values that change lives. So we're about changing lives, serving leadership, not leadership for the sake of, I'm a leader, follow me, but leadership that says, how can I help you? Because in helping you, I win. It's a win-win. That's a different kind of leadership. You're considering the interests of others. And that's, like, say you want to be an entrepreneur. Anybody in here want to be an entrepreneur? Raise your hand. Whose dream is it to own a business? Okay, you think people are going to follow you and want to be your employee if you just care that they're there to make you money? And that's it. No, they want to know you care about them, their family. You know their kids' names. You know they're your family because they're making you successful. You're going to make them successful. That's a serving leader. How about a culture of honor where you respect and love yourself and others? You can't give what you don't have. If you're an empty vessel, what do you have to give? Mom and dad, you've got to be filled up, to be filling each other up so you have enough to pour out. How about words matter? Your voice, your words make an impact. There's nothing to me more exciting than seeing a young person with a microphone in their hand or a pen in their hand, and their voice is being heard around the world because what they say matters. It really matters. Young people, I want you to know that. Your voice matters. You have great, I could cry. You have great ideas. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Anything that I could do to make your voice be heard, I will do. That's my mission. Because I didn't get to experience that growing up. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I love my mom. God bless her. She passed in 2012 at 65. That's a whole nother story. But she was not a mom who ever told me, I'm proud of you, I believe in you, you can do anything. What she said was things like this: I'm the mother, you're the daughter. That will never change. How do you ever feel like you can grow out from under that? What happened to me? I shut down my heart. I'm not going to tell her anything. And my parents were divorced when I was 6. My father got married 3 more times. So I looked at him like, I don't respect you. I don't even know what you're doing. You think I would ever ask him, oh, Dad, I really like this boy. Do you think I should date him? I'm thinking, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm never going to ask him anything. So I was a mess. I had nobody, well, not nobody. My aunt and uncle, they were great. My grandma and grandpa were from Italy. They had a marriage that lasted forever. And so I did have like that. It was wonderful. And I knew my parents loved me too. It's just, I'm showing you that social and emotional development is so critical in our families. That's what's helping people grow on the inside. It's like nutrition to their soul. We can't ignore it. It's so important. And then how about diversity and equality, right? This is a hot button for young people now. You know, they want to know that we're not, oh, my son, I'll be having a conversation. He's like, Mom, you can't say that. That's racist or whatever. I'm like, really, it is? Like, I don't even know. Because I'm not racist, you know, like, that's not who I am. But we don't even know society's language is changing constantly. It's so interesting. And to me, diversity and equality is very, very important. So I want to be on the pulse of these young people. So I'm like, okay, you know, I want to honor you. I want to make sure that that's not what it is. This is my favorite thing to tell them, to tell all of you young people. You were born for greatness, to soar like an eagle. You were not born to be a chicken and a crow on the barnyard floor. Why do I call those animals? Because they're little farmyard animals scratching around in the dirt for their food, right? The eagles are majestic. They're soaring. They could just rise above. If those crows come to pester them, they just go, whatever, and they go higher because they can fly at altitudes those other birds can't. So they just leave those behind. What do the eagles represent? Extraordinary, excellent, exceptional. That's what you were born for. Not mediocre, common culture, average. Who wants to be average? Want to be average? Because average is celebrated. Average is given awards. Oh, you showed up. Here's an award. That's ridiculous. Average in America are those statistics. And as a healthcare professional, a health expert for years, average is cancer. Want cancer? No, I don't want to be average. No. Average for a senior citizen is being on 4 or 5 meds. Arthritis, too tired to play with the grandkids. After your whole life that you're ready to like slow down and enjoy, you're in pain, you need hip replacement, whatever. You're on meds. That's average. I don't want average. Anybody want average? No. You were born for greatness. Do not settle. It's not what you were born for. It doesn't serve anybody at all for you to play small. Play big. I love this one. If you know Miles Monroe, you came to earth to answer a question that God knew would be asked. He made you to be the solution to the problem in your generation. And I actually got to meet Miles Monroe. We were both speakers at an event, and they had a speakers luncheon where they gathered up all our speakers, and it was so fascinating, and I got to spend a little time with him, and he said this to me: go find a problem and be the solution. He literally told me this verbally: go be the solution. I was like, okay. So that's when I started developing, like, what is the problem? And because it was so close to home for me as a teenager with the past that I told you, I knew that that was the problem I wanted to solve. And, truly what I saw in my home was, generational curses. Like, that's the most genetic thing. More than health, like cancer or whatever, that you're going to get it because your parents got it. What's more generational is the way you live and the way you think. Because that's what you know, right? So I saw myself starting to treat my children the way my mother treated me. And I couldn't handle it. I could not handle it. And I wanted to be that serving leader in my home. And I'll tell you a quick little story. So when I was taking these communication courses, it was right around the time that I started homeschooling my oldest. And Isaiah, he's such a sweet, sweet guy. He's an incredible, loyal friend. He's an amazing listener. He's like that kind of friend that if you have something going on, you call him. Because he'll just listen, he'll just be with you. He's an amazing guy. But he's also more like chill. And I'm like, if you could tell, I'm more like rabbit, like, I got the energy, and I'm always like, come on. That'll take you 2 seconds. I'm famous for that. My kids, 2 seconds, right? Mom, like, yeah. Because for me, it would take 2 seconds. But for somebody else on a chill speed, it could take them an hour, right? And for me, that's like watching paint dry. I don't even know what to say. So my face didn't look too nice, and maybe I might have been like, I just showed you that. Like, what do you mean? And it wasn't nice. It was like, he's better off at school with a nice teacher than mom, who's /homeschool mom, giving him a hard time. And God showed me that in a really powerful way. You want to hear the story? Really quick. I was in my car listening to an audio recording of Jim Weiss. Anyone know Jim Weiss, Story of the World, incredible storyteller? And I was going to have him come to my event and do an event for homeschoolers to speak. So they sent me his promo disc, and I'm in the car by myself for some reason, do a lot of car schooling, right? So I was listening to him, and he's doing Shakespeare and Sherlock Holmes and incredible. And then he does The Tortoise and the Hare. And that's where my world changed. So all of a sudden, the rabbit's like talking like 50 miles an hour, and I was like feeling pride, literally in my car, like puffed up, holding the steering wheel, like, yes, that's me. I'm the best. I can multitask with the best. And yeah. And then all of a sudden, the turtle started talking in slow motion. And I literally went from pride to like disgust. I was like, picturing my son sitting at home, taking 3 days to do 15 math problems, going in the bathroom for 40 minutes, 3 times a day. I was like feeling it, like literally a visceral, like, ew. And the Holy Spirit entered the car. No lie. I had to pull over. So I'm driving, and all of a sudden, across my body, every hair on my body went up, and my tears started pouring out like a faucet. And I felt God right there. I mean, nothing visual or audible, but it was like real. And I pull over, pouring tears. And I hear in my heart, so you despise my creation, the turtle? Really? Why? Because he's not you? He's not good enough? He's not fast enough? Yeah. I made him for a purpose. You don't know what that purpose is. I do. I gave you him to shepherd him. Are you doing that? Are you letting him be him? What do you think? I'm crying like, what a loser mom I am. This is pathetic. I'm ruining my son. I'm remembering my mother. And then, so I calmed down, and then the punchline. And who won the race anyway? The turtle. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, I go home, I scoop up my son, and I think God did all this because my son wanted to run track. And near me, there's a program called HEAT, and track would use a school's facilities, but they couldn't use it after school, so they had to do it during the day, which meant he's gonna leave 3 times a week from noon to 3. Like, how's that gonna happen when he does 15 math problems in 3 days and goes to the bathroom? Like, no, you can't do track, I'm so sorry, not happening. Not to be mean, but I was like, I couldn't even fathom how that's possible. Whew. Well, I go home, I scoop him up, I repented. I said, can you please forgive me? Because you're awesome the way God made you. Don't ever listen to me if I'm making you feel wrong or bad. And God gave me you as a gift because I get to learn from you. You chill me. Like, because of you, I experience more like I need you. And forgive me for the future, because I know my face might still be like, you know. He's like, I love you, Mommy. We hugged, and I go, and by the way, you're doing track. Oh my gosh. And it was, I didn't even care about math anymore. Remember Coach Rick? You're teaching math, you're not math. Like, you're free. Go, go, go. And that led me on a journey to learn about the personality types, love languages, and all these tools that, why don't they teach this in schools? Why don't families do this as like a normal part of our curriculum? So I made the curriculum. Back to being a serving leader, because I think these kind of tools go along with being a serving leader. This is the model where the leaders, it's called an upside down pyramid. He's lifting the team. How can I help you succeed? Oh, when I help you succeed, I succeed. And that's the model that we're supposed to be called to, as opposed to, oh yes, you're all minions below me. Get my work done, and I will prosper, and I get all the credit, and maybe I'll give you some credit. I'm not sure. So that's not really an environment of trust or win-win at all. That doesn't really work. If you've ever been in corporate, you might go, oh yeah, I know what that's all about. So as a serving leader, we're concerned with others and how we treat others. Our words are how we treat others and ourselves. So I've been doing assemblies at school. Well, I just started because some of my alumni are launching what I call TLT, Tomorrow's Leaders Today, clubs in schools. So I go and I help by launching the assembly if the school is cool with that. And we use nursery rhymes. It's really fun. I'm gonna make you laugh. This is the homeschool mom in me. So I said, okay, I get somebody up from the audience who could do like a beatbox, like, you know how like some kids can do that. Is there anybody here who could do that? Who could do like the beat? No? Nobody? Come on. All right, well, get the visual. And then I get another kid up like kind of like doing the beat on the table. And then I get somebody up to rap a nursery rhyme. Mary had a little lamb, and we're like the whole thing. All to get to the point where we talk about this famous nursery rhyme. You guys know it. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never harm me. Not true. Not true. And then we go for the deep dive and we talk about, is that true? No, it's not true. Right, because words will infect my mind. I'll be thinking for years about the fact that you told me I'm this, that, and the other. So I want to get some interaction with you guys, and I have some fun giveaways, so I hope that's a little incentive. I love these shirts. These are from one of my sponsors, and they give me these shirts, these Live Generously shirts. Aren't these fun? They're so soft. I have 2 smalls, 2 mediums, and 2 larges. So if that fits you, this is what I'm hoping to see who can come up here. In the assembly, we had a girl, and this is when I tell you about the girl, this is what I'd like to see if there's somebody here who would be courageous enough to come and share. I said, who will tell me some words that hurt, that infected your mind? And this girl raised her hand, and she came up. I don't know what she was going to say. I put the microphone like this, and she said, every day, my mom tells me, you're worthless. And I saw some of your faces like, and you know, I'm up here with her, I'm like, how do you feel about that? She didn't know what to say. living it. How do you live like that? Your mother. I said, okay, we're going to reverse that. And that's why if you came in and you heard Toby Mac's song, Speak Life, that's the reverse. I said, who here will speak words of life over this friend here? And like 5, 6 of them raised their hand. And they said, you're awesome. You're the best friend. You're such a good listener. And we reversed it. So, who here has the courage to come share some words that have been spoken over you? Anybody? Anybody want to participate? You're all too tired. All right. I'll tell you another story, though, another assembly. A young guy, I think he was like a 9th or 10th grader, stood up and he said, every day my stepfather tells me, I wish you were dead. And last night I had a knife to my throat and I don't even know why I'm here, and one of these days I'm just going to do it and take my life. The whole assembly got up and did one giant group hug over this kid. And, you know, it's really our job to build people up. If you're going to be a leader and a serving leader, you have to use your words. Words matter. They really matter. I say words, you say matter. Ready? Words? Words? All right, you're awake. So what did I do about these words matter? In my program, and where are my peeps? Okay, can you guys hand everybody, go around with that and give everybody these? So I created these cards in my week-long, it's a 7-day leadership intensive where they come for a week of this kind of training. Like, they come out after a week like a new person. And there's a little delivery system. So you see this, like there's little envelopes where they get these cards delivered to them all throughout the week. And what does the card say? It says, the greatness I see in you. We are training them to speak life. It's a gift. It's a free gift. You didn't have to go spend money. You just had to open up your mouth, get some effort from inside out, and let some life come out and bless somebody. It could even be a stranger. It doesn't matter. And that's actually more powerful. Because I remember a student saying, wow, if a room full of strangers can believe this about me and my own parents don't say these things, maybe it's true. Maybe I can dare to believe I'm good and I'm valuable. I want to read you one that my son, I was getting ready and getting stuff together for this event, and I saw this was taped to my computer, and it was one that my son did, my second son, Cyrus. He said, the greatness I see in you, to Mom, the greatness I see in you is your intense ability to give, to love, to support. See, that's like an example. Some characteristics you see in the person. I can't imagine the wells of pain I have dug in your heart, Mom. And that's a story like what he's been through. You are an angel, a warrior, and a forever rhino mama. I love you. I love rhinos. And these were all the ones from my students. Of course, I'm going to save them forever, the rest of my life. So I give those to you because I really want you to take those home with you. And I actually redid them. So the new version, they actually come in a 14-pack, and I'm selling them. It's like a fundraiser for scholarships. So they're all cute, different the back sides, and then there's space for people to write. And you could deliver them. You could pop them in the mail. You can give them to family members. You could tuck it in their suitcase if they go out of town. Really, really fun. That will be on my website. You'll see that eventually. All right, I want to get into some emotional stages of development. Have you ever realized that we can be arrested in our development? Okay, do you know what that means? Like, your body will continue to grow, but emotionally, you may not. And you may see people like that as we start to talk about it. And it degrades the quality of your relationships, and it erodes the cohesion of a family. If somebody is not emotionally developed, that's a really difficult situation. And for me, I was becoming more mature than my mother in a lot of ways, and that's part of why she was saying that. She felt intimidated and threatened, like, don't go past me. She didn't know how to forgive my father. She hated him and ended up dying of a brain tumor that she said, oh, I know I have this because of all the hatred of all the years, and that's a whole nother story, but no lie. Like, she lived that way. And this is what happens. We're born here, a dependent infant. And if I could put a title on that, I want to read it from my curriculum. By the way, these are example of the last 4 years of curriculum that I write for the intensive. So every student gets one of these books and they work through it. But let me get to the emotional stages of development. So an emotional infant says, I want it when I want it. And they're going to do things like, I'm going to force you to give me what I think you owe me. I'm entitled. I never get enough. I require all of you. So nobody else can get attention in the home. It's all about me. Okay? It's all or nothing. And those are some of the hallmarks, some behavior. There's a lot. But then the next one is an emotional child, little toddler, right? They don't say what's wrong. They act out in bad behavior, and they keep you guessing. And they'll do things like lie, trick, manipulate, whining, a lot of whining, right? Teenagers, whinies is an emotional infant. You don't want to be stuck here. If you're a whiner, and you may know who you are, cut it out. You're not born for that. It's enough. Time to grow up emotionally. Okay. Oh, there's a lot to it, but anyway, you get the point of that one. Okay, then an emotional adolescent. What do you think adolescents say? Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. They're rebellious. They criticize. They don't like being corrected or directed. I believe I already know everything, and, I don't need to have any input, and so forth. Right? Know any adults like that? Do you know any adults that are stuck along the way here? Here's the goal. What does this characteristic look like? This is the goal. Emotionally mature, spiritually mature. Hopefully, you're somewhere close to here before you go off to college. That's all I have to say. The emotional adult is the capacity for mutual concern, able to listen with empathy, confides needs in a caring, positive manner, desire for relationship to win. Meaning, you acknowledge my decisions, my behavior actually has a ripple to the world and affects people, and I care. And I may adjust my behavior because it'll affect somebody. Not just do whatever you want and too bad for you. That's not an emotional adult. That's something else along the way. So that's the goal. Win-win. Also, what do you think's over here? All the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, forgiveness, whatever, right? What's the last one? Self-control. Oh, self? No, I'm not going to do that self because that will hurt so-and-so and so-and-so. It'll hurt me too. I actually care. I'm actually going to tell myself no. Have you ever told yourself no about anything? I had a friend who couldn't even do like a no coffee for 7-day challenge. Oh, no, I couldn't do that. Like, why? Basically what you're saying is you're not in control of yourself. Yourself is, your soul. Body, soul, spirit, right? You're not your body, that's your car, your vehicle to get around the world. Your spirit is who you really are. That's connected to God. What I tell the teenagers is this is an amazing device till the battery dies. Then you can throw it away. But how do you get it back to life? You have to plug it in, right? You plug it in. This is lowercase s, that's you. Uppercase S, God. You need to plug in. That's who you really are. That's your identity. What's that piece in between? It's the soul, the mind, the will, the emotions. I feel like this. It's not about how you feel. Feelings are fickle. They'll change tomorrow. Don't go by your feelings. And sometimes you can't even go by your intellect. So I found it Elevate Life to, like I told you before, turn the hearts of the parents to the children and the children to the parents. That's a commission in Luke 1. And we've been amazed to see some of the results along the way. Increases in all the things we want to see. Identity, self-worth, faith, purpose, positive attitude, self-confidence, developing deep friendships. We need that now more than ever with all the isolation that's been going on for the last year and a half. We need to know how to develop real relationships, not virtual relationships. Meeting your friends in a gaming world is not a real relationship. A group DM is not a real relationship. Get together with people, feel their energy, have a cup of coffee, where you could go like this to them and feel a human. That's a deep relationship. Being vulnerable and authentic, dropping the masks, really having a real conversation. How do you feel about that? Maybe you're having troubles at home. Somebody to talk to. So you're not going to drugs or alcohol or porn or food or whatever. That's the mental health component. We need to change that. And how about acting as a serving leader? We're seeing our young people want to get out there and be a bigger participant at home and changing things in their own home. And then decreasing all the things we want to decrease. Depression, anger, unforgiveness, anxiety, loneliness, being a victim, poor me, right? We don't like that. Resistance and self-centeredness. Selfie Nation, that's a book that I've been writing. Selfie Nation. There's the Selfie Nation equation. S plus E plus L plus F equals a big question mark. What does it equal? Who are you? Who are you? Let's discover that. So I'm redefining that. And this was actually a statement made by a young man who's actually coaching me. He's 24, and he started a movement. His name is Dennis Esteman. When he was a senior in high school, he went to a high school, a big one in Boca High, and he saw so many kids that nobody ate with them at lunch. And he had a heart to start something called We Dine Together, and it went nationwide. The news picked it up, and now there's clubs all over the nation. And he's writing his book called Move to Movement. And he's using Elevate Life as like a beta. He's my guest speaker. He's an amazing guy. And this is what he wrote. We aren't the next, we're the now. We aren't the future, we are the present. We're not just serving for a brighter tomorrow. We are leading for a better today. We are TLT, tomorrow's leaders today. And it's hashtag TLT movement. So I had some students start a podcast. So we have the TLT Movement podcast that's going to be soon on the podcast store. We have the TLT clubs going in the schools now, the assemblies, and then we have our 7-day leadership intensive in the summer, which these are the dates for next year. And you all got the postcards. So you want to see my promo video? Here we go. Oh, wait. It's exciting when you see young people stepping into their identity and their purpose. And you know that our future is going to be good in their hands. I can trust them. You all got a QR code on your the little papers there. Make sure you scan it. If you could take your cell phones actually right now, really quick, because I have some resources that I want to give you, and I want to give you the notes from today, some of those statistics, and that's my easiest way to get it and email it to you. And then also you can win the iPod mini that's over there. That's really fun, a great Bluetooth speaker for your house. You can tell it all kinds of things, like to set a reminder. I love it. It's like having a little secretary. So make sure you do that QR code. And I want to show you some other resources. So I told you I'm a chiropractor nutritionist. This is my husband, Dr. Jeff. And we have been teaching and helping people our whole marriage. We've been married 22 years. We had a big wellness center for years. Now we don't. Now my husband's more of a health consultant and like a chaplain in a way to companies. And we go around, and then he wrote a book, and then we wrote this curriculum. And it's great for homeschool families to get that health science credit and nutrition credit. You can use it in multiple ways. It's there's a digital format. There's a book that you can use as a study guide. This was actually the one that we designed for small groups, for churches to do as well. So that's a great resource. That's available at nourishthenations.org. Again, if you do the QR code, I'm going to send you all this information, so don't worry if you didn't write it down. And this is a seminar that my husband and I are speaking at next weekend. It's virtual. It's like pennies. I think it's like $59, and it's all focused on family and education. You guys are the people for family and education. So I want to let you know about that. That's going to be on my events page of my website on Monday. You could check that out and sign up for it this week sometime. It's really great. What I love, this is Johnny and Elizabeth Enlow. You may know their names. They're believers who speak, and they have a very big platform. They put together this event called RISE, and I love what it stands for, so I made a slide out of it. Reformers Influencing Society Every Day. I think that's what you guys are. Homeschool mom and dad, you rise. You're influencing society by training your young people. I applaud you. I applaud all of us who will take the time out from our lives to invest time, money, heart, prayers, all the things to train up this next generation and be social. You're actually social reformers. Did you know that? Now you know that. And this is a slide with, okay? So I have this book here and I actually want to give these away. There's an author, very special man, near and dear. We met, we were both speakers at an event. Dr. John Stallworth, there's his picture on there. It all started with this book. So I gave him my resources and he gave me his. A lot of times authors, speakers, they swap stuff and then it goes on a shelf. Well, we actually read it and we were crying our eyes out and we became friends with him. And I use his materials. Every year I use a different one of his books. And this one was that triangle model. And it's a novel. So it's not like one of those laundry lists like 7 laws to this or 10 points to this. It's not that. It's a novel where you're following, it's a father and a son. And I don't want to tell you the story. You should really get the book. It's on Amazon. And then, so this is about how to be a serving leader, the outer work. Then the character in the book realizes he's a consultant teaching people, but inner, he's not the man. He's like a fraud. And he realizes, and then the next book, Grow Up, is about how to do the work on the inner man, those tools. And what do you do when life gets hard and things like that. This book, With, which we used this past year, is a beautiful novel that he wrote. It's actually a true story about just how to be with. Who's with you? Who are you with? Are you with your children? Are they with you? Do you have their heart? Do they have yours? The reason why I'm here today, and it's an honor and a privilege, so thank you, Suzanne, and thank you to the FPEA for thinking enough of me and my content to put me here in front of you. That's a very big honor. I don't take it lightly. But really why I'm here is because I want to be with you. I want to be with you. I'm here because you're here. I want to be with you, not apart, not against, not above, not below, just with. We have been with each other this morning. You've been hearing my heart. You saw me get emotional and cry. I saw some of you feel it, what these teenagers are saying as well. It's really amazing. I want to give these away. Who's my youngest leader in here? Who's under 15? Raise your hand if you're under 15. How old are you? 12. Anybody younger than 12? How old are you? 14, 12 and 14. Anybody older than them? All right, both of you guys, come on up here. Come on up here. Come on up here. Yeah, you can give them a clap. Okay. Okay, let's see. Who has homeschooled the most years? Let's see. Who's homeschooled more than 10 years? Okay, 11 years, 12 years, 13 years, 14 years, 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, 18 years, 19 years, 20 years. You both win. Come on up here. I have another book. Come on. Wow, ladies. Wow. Give them a hand. Okay, you can have this. Okay. So this one, I'll tell you what you're going to get. This is another one of Dr. John's book. It's about team goal achievement. How do you get a team to achieve a goal? Not easy, right? Your team has to believe in you. They have to get behind you. They have to trust you. So that book is about trust and how to get your team to trust you. Great. How about, let me give these shirts away anyway. So let's see. If you are, let's see, give me my older teenagers. Where's my 16, 17, 18, 19? Stand up if you're 16, 17, 18, 19. Just come on up here. And grab a shirt. See if you could find your size. There's 2 that are small, 2 that are medium, and 2 that are large. Just grab them. Because you know what, guys? You are called to not only greatness, but you're called to live generously. With your words, being that serving leader, changing the world, one person at a time. You can do it. I believe in you. I want to show you a fun exercise that we've done at Identify Impact, and just to show you what transformational learning looks like. It doesn't look like just sitting in your seat like a lecture. That doesn't fly. It doesn't fly for me, for adults, and so we try to resist that. So we talk a lot about breakthroughs, where you're stuck, where you want to leave that behind. So I give them a board, and we usually have a guest speaker, like a karate guy. We don't do the same thing every year, so it's not the same thing. And then they write with a Sharpie what they want to break through. And this student was honest enough to say laziness, procrastination, disrespect. Parents, don't we want our kids to break through those things? Wow. You actually identified that on your own without me telling you at an intensive? Wow. Broke through that. How about this girl? You could tell it's a girl because the little dots are flowers. Insecurity and unhappiness. Yes, we want to break through that as well. So, there's a lot of amazing tools that we can use to be with. And the reason why I have the Toby Mac is because that's, to me, a very important aspect of emotional development, is knowing how to speak life over people. So we're out of time. If you have any questions, please come up and see me at the table. We have really quick, we have scholarship funding. Most of my students don't even end up paying. They end up raising the money. I get sponsors. It's really exciting. If you want to get involved in the TLT movement, if you want to come for training, I'll tell you this. You may think, I'm going to college. I'm done with that. That's I'm old enough. I tell you, the summer after high school, before you launch your life, is the exact time you want to do it. That's critical. And then not only then, is you come and get training, and then you come back and be one of my trainers. Because I'm really training trainings and mentoring mentors. So I'm training you to come back and be a trainer. And that's literally a mission trip week that you don't need to get on the plane. My mentors come and they stay a whole week and they pour in and they're rubbing elbows and they're doing all the same work, and it's an incredible environment that you can't even imagine. So I hope you had a great takeaway for why social and emotional, in the school board, that's what they call it, social and emotional wellness. Why that is critical as you're thinking about going off to college and beyond. So God bless you all. I believe in you. Be those eagles that soar. Thank you.